Hello dear YouTuber friends, and I hope you're all keeping well. Welcome to this new video. This is a review of the Carenado Cessna 172. It's an old vintage Cessna 172. If we jump in the cockpit there, you can see exactly what you mean. I think it's from the 1950s. So the original, in effect, Cessna 172 aircraft. Have Carenado done it again? As you know, I'm a big fan of the Carenado aircraft, and I know quite a few of you are. This time they're tackling the Cessna 172, and it's quite a fascinating flyer. In this video I'm going to give you my review of it, show you various of its features, and we'll take it for a test flight. So let's not dilly-dally, let's get on with this video. So we're going to start up cold and dark at Manchester Airport, because it's quite an easy aircraft to start up. Remember, it's a vintage model. Now, Carenado kindly gifted this to me, so I didn't get to take a look at the price. I've done a little bit of a research. It's available for both Xbox and PC flight simmers on the marketplace. So 2024 marketplace, just go and search. From researching, it's about $15. Can somebody confirm the actual price in UK and US down below, and even European price as well, euros, down below in the comments? That would be handy, because I couldn't see because it was gifted to me, so it doesn't show me the price any longer. But it's a low price, I know that. And it comes, this is one of the variants it comes with. It comes with 9 different variants. Let me just show you that on screen. So you can choose between 9 different variants of the aircraft. There we go, that's enough for you. Let's take it off screen. And it comes in the sort of standard layout with the wheels like this, and one with fairings. So you have like covers over the wheels. I've just gone with the standard. So take a look at the external modelling here. Typical Carenado style fashion. Just remove the engine covers there, and it removes the fuselage at the same time. Typical Carenado style. Fantastic external modelling. High PBR texturing and goodness knows what. There you go, I'll give you it in different viewpoints there. Look at the texturing and weathering going on with the aircraft there. Surface textures. And goodness knows what. As you can see, it's quite a small looking cockpit inside. Remember, it's a vintage aircraft, and it has like that box cart sort of look to it, doesn't it? Which is brilliant. Obviously 2024 modelling, you can test your elevator and surfaces and goodness knows what. Look at that texturing going on. All the high quality grade texturing there. Let's just remove the chocks before I forget. And that's all you need to do, basically. Fuselage cover and the chocks, and you're ready to go. Let's give you a close-up there. Look at that. Oh, fantastic. Keep that open. That'll be good to take a look at when the engine's up and running. Let's just jump into the cockpit. Get off. There we go. And as you can see, oh no, the engine cover's covered back up again as soon as I do that. Old-fashioned style cockpit layout there. Look at the yoke there. Instead of having switches, you got sort of push-pull knobs here as well for things like battery, as I'll show you in a moment. You've got fuses, which you can pull in and out as well. Nice to see. Typical Carenado flair and fashion here. Very nice to see. Just take a look around the cockpit there. Nice texturing going on. I have tried this in VR and it does look fantastic in VR as well. So VR pilots, you're going to fall in love with this one. Look at the fabric texturing going on. Just high quality throughout the aircraft, which is great to see. And this old vintage, you're probably looking at this saying, what the heck is all that? Let's show you a bit of it. It's not complicated. Just going to make sure my altimeter is correct. Hide the yoke. And we'll start with the batteries. Just going to pull these. Scroll down with my mouse. It'll turn the batteries on. We can turn the avionics on as well. That'll turn our Garmin systems on there. Why not? Mixture. That's your mixture knob. That's your throttle. Just going to use my physical throttle. Push it in a little bit there, throttle. About there. Fully lean the mixture. Turn my beacon lights on as well. Pop outside. There you go, beacon lights are flashing. One other thing I should do is just make sure it is by default. You have to kind of move your view of the cockpit around to make sure your fuel selector is on both. And you scroll with your mouse wheel there to choose between different ones. Let's keep it on both. Get back to my default view here. I've got the sounds turned up. Hopefully this will work. Let's just get that Garmin system up and running. And we'll crank it up. Actually, I could use my XPC yoke to do this. Just pull the starter switch, basically. Look at this. Wonderful emulation of this aircraft. Now, whilst we're outside, can we see... Can we get that engine cover open? Oh, we can't. Well, a shame. You can do it. I don't think you can once you got the aircraft up and running. It'll be nice to see the engine working. Don't think they've modelled that part. Obviously, they've modelled the aircraft working surfaces and goodness knows what. So there we go. So what we can... Other things we should look out for there. So what have I done there? Let's do landing lights. Navigation lights. There we go, just take a look outside. There we go, they're all up and running. Fantastic, isn't it? Look how small that cockpit is. Look how... if you got a co-pilot in there, you are really squashed in that little cockpit. Don't need a pushback. I'm just going to give it a little taxi. I'll test out the taxi features. Let's just scroll out there. I need to crank the throttle to get it moving. That's fine. That's a very, very nice feeling on the ground as you're taxiing. Now I can pull that throttle back. I don't need to go too quickly. Very smooth, very nice feeling as you're taxiing along there. And what I'll do, I'll carry on with my little taxi here towards the runway, and I'll meet you on the active runway. Okay, so I'm set up at the active runway at Manchester Airport there. No flaps in. By the way, the flaps lever, instead of having a sort of flap switch, you've got a lever here that you pull up or down. So if I 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees, that should be full. I'm just mousing up and down with my scroll wheel there. So let's just put it at 10 degrees for takeoff. Quite an interesting flaps lever, isn't it? But no sort of indication of there, I don't believe, of what your flaps is in. You'll have to look down at your lever. Remember, it's an old vintage aircraft. So I'm just going to throttle up. Release the parking brake. Still got the sounds turned up, but hopefully not too much. Whoa. Wow, that's got a... I think it just hit a bump in on the runway there. Doesn't take long to get up to takeoff speed. There we go. 60 knots, 70 knots. We're up in the air. Let's retract those flaps. And let me just come down. Well, let me just trim out. Now, if you're used to the Cessna 172 Skyhawk or G1000 variant, it's a little bit different in handling. Just going to pull back my throttle there. And I'm just going to trim out the aircraft using my trim knobs that I've got set up. And there's your vertical speed. Not too difficult to trim out. I'm just going to hand fly this a little bit till we clear the airport. There we go, just trim down a little bit. It's a little bit sensitive on the trim, but not overly. And there you go, I'm nearly, well there you go. Pretty much straight and level flight there. Not much issue. Let's just increase that throttle a little bit more. Don't want to go too slowly. I can cruise typically around 130 knots. So it's not as quick as something like the Cessna 182RG. Of course not, it's a 172. It's probably about the speed of the 172 or 152. Handling, it's got a lovely fluid feeling. Just banking left and right slowly there. Lovely feeling, fluid feeling to it. It's actually a joy to fly. You know, in the class of the 172 or 152 aircraft now, this is fast becoming one of my favourite aircraft within that sort of class of aircraft. Love the vintage feel to it, and I love the dials as well. I'm a fan of the G1000 as well. Of course, you can do quite a lot with them, but you do have some rudimentary sort of functional Garmin system at least in there. If you want to do fancy autopilot stuff, there you go. Straight on level flight, about 130 cruise. Not bad at all. Shall we do some autopilot stuff? Just going to hide the yoke. And this switch here is your autopilot master switch. It's not on the panel here. When you first jump into this, you think, where's the autopilot master? It's over here. We'll turn that on. You can see this has come to life. You've got a heading bug here, which you can use your heading knob to control that. So if you're in heading mode, down here you got heading, nav, approach, all the usual stuff. Back course, still got to do a video on that. Altitude hold, vertical speed. It does act differently now. It doesn't have an autopilot selected altitude mode, I don't believe. I'll show you that in a moment. Heading bug though, I've got a knob on my XPC yoke to move that, so I'll sync it to my current heading. I can click into heading mode. There you go, we're in heading mode. It'll follow my heading. Let's move it to the left. Let's just try that again. I think it was in heading mode already by default. Didn't realise, I've just had to click it. It'll come up down here, heading HDG, to show you that you're in heading mode. Fly towards Manchester. Shouldn't do that because it can get a bit stuttery still for some reason. So I'll just fly to my right a little bit. Now, altitude, what are we? I'm going to maintain autopilot altitude hold there, so it'll hold our altitude. Doesn't have an autopilot selected altitude mode here. What you would do, you would just click on vertical speed. It's off at the moment. I can click it on, and I could set a vertical speed. Let's say I want to get to 1,200. Vertical speed, it'll show up here, or down here, 300, 400 feet per minute. Once it gets to 1,200 feet, for example, just increase that a bit more, 500 feet per minute, I'll just click on autopilot altitude hold. Doesn't actually have you, I don't believe it allows you, that I've found so far, to set an autopilot altitude, and then just click on autopilot so it maintains that. Not sure about that, I'm still experimenting with this autopilot panel. 1,200, altitude mode on, and if we click vertical speed off, there you go, vertical speed's off. Oh, off, thank you. It'll let you select altitude select, but nothing will happen there. If I click back into vertical speed, so if I click vertical speed on, I can either go vertical speed nose up or down. So if I want to climb a little bit more, for example, 200 feet per minute to 1,300. So I could just click altitude hold there again, just so we don't climb too much. If I click vertical speed off now, you can see altitude select has gone back down to 300. I believe this is just a vertical speed selector. Then when you reach your altitude, you'll just press altitude hold. Remember, it's a vintage aircraft. I quite like that. I'm going to fly back towards Manchester Airport, so come round about 180 degrees. Keep it in autopilot mode, why not? And we'll go back to Manchester Airport for a quick landing. I believe it's just out here. There we go, Manchester Airport just out there. Get back in the cockpit. Again, if there's a stutter and my voice cuts out, it's just an artifact of G-force experience, so bear with me. There we go, Manchester Airport yonder. And what I can do there, in fact, is take it off autopilot mode again. Just try and maintain straight and level flights here. So just going a little bit of climb now, just bringing my throttle back slightly. Just to maintain straight and level flight. Around about there. Oh no, it's perfect. I'm just hand flying it. So when I see the airport runway, come down for a manual landing. There we go, let's just maintain that. And then I can start to slow down within the flaps range here, which is around about here. It'll be about 100 knots from the look of it there. So that white taper mark on the speed ribbon there, on the speed dial rather, in this case. Now I need to come down to my, right, left. One day I'll get me left and right. There's an old film, John Cleese Clockwise. So we go left, right. Kind of remind myself of that film when I mix my left and right up. There we go. Come to our left. This is all hand flying, just a lovely feel. You know, I do enjoy the Cessna 172 G1000. 152, it's okay every now and again. I do it just to keep my proficiency. I'll fly in it just to keep my proficiency up in it. Don't really enjoy the default 152 a great deal. This one, absolutely in love with. Might be one that I'll be showcasing when I'm flying around in future videos. Now I need a livery for it again, don't I? There you go. So we got runways coming up. Oops, left and right here. So I've just knocked something over on my desk. Ignore that. I'm going to start bringing my throttle back so I can get within the flaps range. Trim up while I do that. I've done a couple of landings in this, so hopefully I should be proficient enough here. Now just trim up a wee bit more, just try and maintain my altitude there. Increase that throttle, I don't want to slow down too much. There we go. Roughly within that flaps range. I'm going to go to stage 1 flaps, 10 degrees of flaps. Now I've done that from a flap switch on my throttle quadrant. But if we take a look down, should say 10 degrees. There we go. Wow, leave go of me yoke there completely. Let's just see. Look, the aircraft's maintaining the altitude. Slightly going down. Just tiny inputs from my yoke will get me back to straight and level. Very easy to fly this. Very simple. It's got a floaty feel to it, which is not a bad thing. It's got a realistic feel to it. When you're banking, just doing small inputs with your yoke or controller. Very, very nice. Another notch of flaps. 20 degrees of flaps in. I think I'm going to do a 20 degree of flaps landing here. It looks okay. Nice long runway. Bring back that throttle. Just should decrease my altitude. It is high at the moment, but never mind. I'll try and get those puppy lights back in. Lining up with the right runway here. Right, left, right. The right hand side runway. Oh, this is a dream. It really feels like you're flying an aircraft. People, it's a funny thing to say that. Not all aircraft give me that feeling in Flight Sim 2024. This one really feels like I'm hand flying this. Absolutely. And I have tried it in VR. It is a treat. I'm just going to put my yoke back in so you can see my tiny yoke movements as I move this aircraft. Let's decrease that now. I am high. Another notch of flaps, why not? So I've not decreased my throttle slowly. I've just decreased it enough that I'm going to start descending. Nice long runway though. I can see where I want to land within that sort of black area of the runway there. Just going to increase that throttle again, maybe a little bit too slow on the throttle there. Just going to use my yoke there just to get myself Keeping an eye on my speed so I don't stall the aircraft. One of the Papillites coming now. Not a tutorial on Papillites landing, but now 2 white, 2 red. That'll do. Better late than never. And there we go, we're over the runway. Let's decrease that throttle and come down for a landing. Wow. Can I stall it on there? That'll do. That'll do indeed. Just holding back my yoke a bit too much there. There we go. Now you don't want to stop there. Let's just bring those flaps up. I'll just come off to the left, people. I know there's taxiways and goodness knows what, but I'll just come off and give you my recommendations and conclusion to this video. What a flyer! What a flyer this is! Now again, it's on the marketplace. Because it was gifted to me, I couldn't see the marketplace price, but just confirm that for me, someone please, down below in the comments, or a couple of you confirm it. Should be around the £15, euro, dollar mark. Probably be less in pound if it's $15. Nice and cheap, nice and low cost aircraft. Very vintage. If you love the classic dial aircraft, you like things like the Cessna 152 or those variants, or the variants of the 172, modern 172 with the classic dials, you are gonna love this. Autopilot functionality with it. Absolutely exquisite flight modelling on this. Really enjoy that. Let's raise those flaps fully. Recommendation from me, you'll probably see me fly this in other videos as well. Got to get back to flying this in VR. That is really a treat. There you go. Recommendation from me. Let me know your thoughts on the video. Give it a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. And I'll see you soon.